All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 21st Annual Charity of Hope event. My name is Chris May, and I am thrilled to be back as your host and master of ceremonies, albeit in these incredibly messed up times and a really whack situation that we find ourselves in. But we know that this was not our fault. But that's also the case for those that we get together for every single year. The same has always been the case for the kids that we support every year with the Charity of Hope. This is why we wanted to make sure that this event happened this year, regardless of this situation, because now it matters more than ever. Now, I know how important it is to make sure that the children in this community are provided with the opportunity to achieve their true potential. We all know. It gives me great comfort to know that organizations like the Charity of Hope continue to exist to help Hamilton's children become truly the best that they can be. So we invite you to like us, not just as people, but like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter and Instagram, post photos of your viewing party wherever you happen to be and whenever you happen to be watching us, whether it be a business lunch or a get-together. Tag us in your photo when you post using the hashtag Charity of Hope, hashtag Charity of Hope. At this time, I would like to have Sam Mercanti bless us with grace. Sam is one of the founding members of the Charity of Hope and its past chair.
We are going through some interesting times because of this COVID-19 pandemic. A question I get a lot, and I would like to comment on, is this pandemic created by God? And I believe it is. Whenever God wants to change the world and people's hearts, minds, and soul, it has to be something that creates love, hurt, and pain. And I believe that there is not a single person in this world that has not been touched by this pandemic. And it has made me realize more than ever that we need each other and we have to help each other, especially children and families that are hurting. There has never been a better time to show the world what the Charity of Hope has done and is still doing to help children in need. I would like to thank God for all of our committee, starting with Eric, Julie, and Jesse, and the rest of our team. Our chair, Jennifer, Michael Brown, and directors. Thank you to Samantha and all the team for coordinating this Hamilton is Hope event. Special thanks to our sponsors and table purchaser. I pray that God would help, lead, and protect all of our children that are going through these difficult times. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thanks as always for that, Sam. Now, normally, Sam would have said grace. Follow me now. And the first course would start to get served. But while that first course is getting served, so we can get all the momentum up, we would play a game for entertainment value and also to collect donations called Heads and Tails. Won't be able to do that here, obviously. So what I am going to ask you to do throughout the evening, please, is to consider making a donation by going to our website, www.charityofhope.com. Thank you. Now I would like to turn things over to the chair of the Charity of Hope, Jennifer Mercanti.
Hope has made a difference in our life. Now it's time to bring hope to others. It has been a great honor for me to hold the role of chair of the Charity of Hope, which was previously held by my father, Sam Mercanti. My grandparents immigrated to Canada from Italy in 1956 in order to create a better opportunity and lifestyle for their children. My father and his family's determination and perseverance taught me to also work hard, persevere, and give back to those in need in our communities. It is for this reason that our family and friends started the Charity of Hope. It was originally started after some handball games at the local Hamilton downtown YMCA, where my father and his friends would collect $5 from everyone and donate it to a child or family that was in need. The first child they helped was an underprivileged girl who was in need of a pair of boots for winter. It seemed very small, but not to her. They gave her a ray of hope that someone cared and the assurance that the world is filled with good people. Today, with the help of people like you and our corporate sponsors, we have raised approximately $2 million to provide to children in need. We have created music rooms for underprivileged children to have access to music lessons after school and scholarships to help students who otherwise would not have had an education. There is a direct correlation between education and success in life, and it is my goal as chair of the Charity of Hope to continue to provide more children in the Halton and Hamilton regions with access to education. This year has been especially challenging due to the pandemic, but we are still hopeful that with your help, together, we can make a difference and bring a little ray of hope to children and youth in the Halton and Hamilton communities. I would like to thank the Board of Directors of the Charity of Hope for all of their help throughout the years, and this year especially. Thank you all for all of your support.
Thank you, Jennifer. Amazing work as always to the board. I'd like to recognize now the Honourable Philomena Tassi, MP for Hamilton West, Ancaster, and Dundas. Philomena has been a supporter of the Charity of Hope for several years. Here now is a quick video from Philomena.
Hi, I'm Philomena Tassi, Member of Parliament for Hamilton West, Ancaster, Dundas, and Canada's Minister of Labour. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate and thank Charity of Hope. You have been doing amazing work since 1999. And now, during this pandemic, the work you do is more important than ever. I have been able to witness firsthand the impact that your work is having on the lives of young people. It is truly life-changing. I wish to thank you, congratulate you, and look forward to the many lives that you are going to transform.
Thank you as always, Philomena, for your continued support. Now, Mayor Fred Eisenberger has also been a longtime supporter of the Charity of Hope, and Mayor Fred has a taped greeting for all of us at this moment.
Hello everyone. On behalf of the City of Hamilton, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Hamilton is Hope virtual event. As a proud supporter of the Charity of Hope, I'd like to congratulate you on your 41st season. And while this year's event will look much different than in previous years, I'm proud to have our community come together online to help raise funds for local organizations and to provide acts of hope for those that need it most. The generous support of the Charity of Hope has given inspiration to thousands of children and young people in Hamilton. Directed to some of the most at risk in our community, the Charity of Hope has done so much to improve our city. To the supporters, the board, and the volunteers, I offer up my heartfelt gratitude for all that you have done in our community to help those most in need. So together, let us give hope where hope is due, where it can inspire and make a difference. Thank you to everyone involved in this wonderful occasion, and please accept my best wishes for a successful and enjoyable event.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to introduce right now the Hamilton is Hope co-chairs Eric Ferreira and Julie Lemparski.
Hello, Charity of Hope family. Welcome to the 2020 Charity of Hope Online Gala, Hamilton is Hope. I'm Eric Ferrara, and joining me will be Julie Lemparski, co-chairs of this event. Although this event may not look like it did in previous years, we are excited and grateful to be able to connect with each of you this year, although in a new way. In times like this, we are reminded of how interconnected we all are. The global pandemic we all face has a real impact at the local level, and the need for hope is greater than ever. So we thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for supporting the children in our community. Without you, none of this would be possible.
First and foremost, we'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to our givers, partners, volunteers, and especially the Hamilton Committee members. To us, there is nothing more beautiful than people who go out of their way to make life more beautiful for others. We are in uncharted waters. COVID-19 is nearly present everywhere, and our community is no exception. The Charity of Hope has an important role to play by continuing operations to best serve our community.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Julie. An event, whether it's live or like we're doing here, online, it cannot happen without the generosity of our sponsors. To tell us more about our sponsors, I'd like to call back up Eric Ferreira to recognize our platinum and gold level sponsors.
At this part of our program, we would like to take a moment to recognize and thank the sponsors of this event. The sponsors who have and continue to support the Charity of Hope are essential in allowing us to deliver hope to children in need in our community. So on behalf of the Charity of Hope and all of the children and families we've been able to help, we say thank you. We would like to give a special thanks to our platinum and gold level sponsors shown on the side of your screen now. We thank them for their incredible support both this year and in years past. Their generosity is a shining example of how our community can pull together for those in need.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We do have silver, bronze, and special partners. We'll get to those as the evening continues. But first, let me talk a little bit about Joel. Joel is a young student who created the Hope poem. The poem was published in the Hamilton Spectator and discovered and purchased by Sam and Roma Mercanti because the words Joel wrote about hope resonated with them both. Joel is here to read his Hope poem. Joel.
Hi, my name is Joel Wedkin, and this is a little poem that I wrote about 2 years ago for school. It's titled Hope. Hope. If the world suddenly lost hope, it would be in dire straits indeed, for the people would have no reason to cope with all the despair that would proceed. Cities would crumble, progress would halt. That's why it's so important that we keep hope in our hearts. Hope is essential to avoid plight, for it helps us to put up a fight, to push through all the suffering with an end goal in sight. Hope, you constantly astonish. You inspire us to try our best, to push through to the finish when we're put to the test. So whether you be king or slave, well off or at the end of your rope, remember the virtue that keeps us alive, that is the virtue of hope.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Joel. What a smart and spirited young man. We thank you so much for your poem and the courage it takes to read a poem, not necessarily in front of hundreds of people, but knowing that hundreds of people are watching. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to now turn back to Eric Ferreira and recognize our silver level sponsors. Eric?
The Charity of Hope would also like to say a heartfelt thank you and recognize our silver level sponsors, shown on your screen now. Thank you for your continued support and know that you have helped provide hope to children in our community that without you may have lost that hope.
Mike Brown. Mike Brown is our Charity of Hope community liaison. Really cool guy, too, for those of you who've met him. He's going to speak on how the Charity of Hope has helped the charities in the Hamilton community and how the Charity of Hope has helped children and families directly through the Benevolent Fund.
During this unforeseen circumstance of COVID-19, there have been many families and charities that are in need. Many youth have lost their safe haven, and many charities have lost physical contact with youth that have been in their programs. I just want to thank God that we are in contact with a network of people, partners, and charities that have a heart to help the community around them, whether it be physical, financial, or even both. It is our duty to pursue the youth, children, and families that are in need within this community. The Charity of Hope provides help in two different ways. One way being donations, going towards schools, school programs, extracurricular activities, school supplies, and different charities. Another way being the Benevolent Fund, where the funds go directly to the children and youth that are in need. The videos that you're about to see will show how the Charity of Hope has helped throughout the community.
Hi, my name is Kathy Hahn. I'm the Executive Director of Food for Kids Hamilton. We are a school referral program that provides healthy food bags to 1,300 children in Hamilton. Every week, we package all the food bags, and on Friday mornings, our volunteers delivered to 68 schools across the city of Hamilton. We are so grateful for our community for being involved and for our volunteers. And we want to give a big thank you to Charity of Hope and all of the sponsors of this wonderful organization. Throughout the pandemic, we've been contacting our families, and we've called over 100 of our families just to check in on them and see how things are going. And I can tell you that our families rely on the support of Food for Kids. Many of our families have told us that we are the sole provider of the support that they need, and they're so grateful to have us with them, supporting them through all of the year, but especially during this pandemic. Because we were no longer able to deliver food bags to the schools once the closure was announced, we decided to pivot and implement a grocery card model. Since March 12th, we have delivered and distributed to our families $25 grocery cards to each child every 2 weeks. We've been so grateful to be able to do that, and the reason we're able to do that is through the support of organizations like Charity of Hope and the sponsors that generously support this cause. We want to give a big thank you to you. We know that the children in Hamilton need us, they need your support, and we know that they count on their community to take care of them. I can tell you we're very excited to get back to delivering the food bags once the schools reopen. We're likely to restart that in early October, and we're very excited to be able to give them options and access to healthy food. So thank you once again for your support from all of us at Food for Kids Hamilton.
Good day, my name is Frederick Dryden. I'm the Executive Director for Liberty for Youth, and today I'm just so excited that I get a part to share my appreciation to the Charity of Hope and to the sponsors that support the Charity of Hope. We're so privileged. I remember in the midst of the pandemic in March, we were really scared because a lot of donors were calling us and saying that we can't make any donations, we can't support the program anymore. And I remember when I got that call from the Charity of Hope, they informed me that even though they're going to cancel their gala, they're still going to stick to their commitment. Man, myself and my team, most of the youth were so happy that we were still going to get those funds. And that allowed us to really be creative in the pandemic, where a couple of things we've done with our program. We were able to put plexiglass in our 4 Liberty for Youth vans, so that way we can still do one-on-one mentorship. We're able to set up basketball courts and basketball rims at different homes, and both of my staff were able to drive around, and we do what's called mobile basketball right now, where they're working out, they're training. The guys bring their skipping ropes, they bring their weights, they bring vitamins, and yeah, they just train them that way. So what has happened is that throughout the pandemic, a lot of the youth were just sleeping in, but those in our program were able to stick to a schedule, which allowed them to help them with their mental health, and be able to deliver an effective program. Ironically, throughout the pandemic, we've actually expanded the program to 3 teams. So couldn't do it without the support of Charity of Hope and the generous funders that support the Charity of Hope. Truly, truly appreciate it from Liberty for Youth. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joy De Guzman. I am 19 years old. I went to St. Thomas More Catholic Secondary School, and now I am currently attending the University of Waterloo for Global Business and Digital Arts. Thank you so much for all the sponsors and organizations who have allowed me to live the dream that I've been wanting to live for so long. When I was 5 years old, my parents weren't on the same page about anything. They're always fighting and butting heads, and I just remember hiding in my parents' closet all the time to try and get away from it, to try and play with my dolls and play with my little brother and like my older sister. We actually played house a few times just so we can live out that fantasy family life. And got to the point in grade 7 where my dad eventually left. When he left, he took all of my college funds, money that my mom had in her own bank account. He ruined my mom's credit score, so the house that we're living in now isn't even what my mom wishes that she could afford for us. Fast forward to when I was able to work at the age of 15 in Ontario. I applied to literally every job a 15-year-old could apply to, whether it was working at a Tim Hortons, at a grocery store, at a Dairy Queen. I applied to literally everywhere and only got lucky a few times. But in my head, as a 15-year-old, I was like, oh, I want to spend my money on clothes. I want to be able to spend my money on like the newest pair of shoes or like buy my own phone. Instead, I was helping my mom pay for groceries, pay for our internet bill, pay for our phone bill, pay for the rent, just to live under the tiny house that we live in. Growing up, I was grateful for a lot of things, but being able to pay for everything that my mom was supposed to pay for, while being able to try and save for my own education to be able to support her when I'm older, that was hard. Like, I didn't know how to be a teenager at that point. I just knew how to be an adult. I had good grades. I was on honor roll for 4 years. I didn't even know if I could go to post-secondary because I was working so much. Thankfully, to the Charity of Hope, I was able to go to the University of Waterloo. I was able to find opportunities there that I didn't even think that I would achieve. Currently, I am the marketing technical lead at a company called Daytona, who is affiliated with McMaster University, and we create apps and all of these things. We have a website where we talk to moms who go through postpartum depression, families who don't know how to be parents. Like, we do so many things for the community, and I love doing that. Like, I love being able to do what I love, which is user experience and user interface design, and being able to share that with everybody who is going through something else. And it's all thanks to the Charity of Hope.
Hi, my name is Josh Hageman and I pastor Kingsview Community Church. I'd take just a few moments to share with you how I first met Joyce and how that relationship started. I came to the Stony Creek area 5.5 years ago to pastor Kingsview, and immediately in the neighborhood it was told to me that you need to find Joyce because she's going to be the one who will give your kids piano lessons. And so I'm like, all right, sure, I'll track down this Joyce and this person, you know, to give my kids piano lessons. And immediately as I met Joyce and her husband Peter, I recognized very early on that they had a special call to children.
Hi, my name is Joyce, and I'm here to tell you my story. Growing up, I grew up in a great Christian home, and of course, like all little girls want to do, I just wanted to grow up and get married, have a family. So off I went to Bible college and ended up meeting my husband Peter after Bible college. We were actually set up from some mutual friends, and the rest is history, as they say.
We went through a season of ministry at Kingsview where we needed a kids pastor. And I was searching around, looking, praying, thinking, and you know, it just came to clarity that I should ask Joyce. Joyce, who was a music teacher, and she had been a worship pastor in her previous position, but she had never been a children's pastor. And so I approached her and I said, hey, Joyce, would you like to be our kids pastor? I know you've never really done this job before, but I think you'd be perfect because I see how you interact with my kids and your love and your attention for them and your passion for them. There's definitely a God-given gifting and anointing there.
And so we were married in 2006, had a great first year of marriage, decided we both wanted to start a family right away, so we did that. And to our surprise, we were so excited to get that positive news. So we were just so elated. And a couple months later, unfortunately, we lost our first child. We had talked about adoption, and we didn't know what to do, and we started to really pray and ask God what He wanted us to do. And we decided to turn our grief and some of our frustrations into giving back. And so God led us to foster. And so we went to some classes, we did some training, and within a couple months, our home was open, and we welcomed our first child inside, and our lives completely changed. And fostering is super challenging, yet so rewarding, and it's such an emotional journey, but we just loved being parents and offering a safe home to these kids. Peter had just so much desire to have our own family. We were so excited, and we just began to pray that if these were the kids of God's choosing, that they would stay. So we began to parent them. They were here for a long time. We did birthdays together, we did holidays, we did milestones with them. And we just love them. We just loved on them. And so we're coming up to almost 2 years, and we just continue to pray. We continue to get closer. And we found out that they were becoming adoptable, and we were just amazed. And so we were so excited to start and have our forever family, and so grateful to God for that. And so we were really excited to have Christmas together. The adoption process had started. Papers were going to be signed the beginning of January, so we were just so excited. And Peter wasn't feeling good one day, and so we had gone to the doctors, and the doctors said it was pneumonia. Gave him some medication and sent him home. The 23rd of December, he went in for another appointment, and he was not feeling great. And they advised, you know what, I think it's time to go to the hospital. Let's just get some IV medication into you for 24 hours. That's all we need. And you can be home with your new family. And so that was the plan. So I dropped him off on December 23rd, hoping to pick him back up in a couple days to spend Christmas together. And on the 25th of December, I got a call from them saying not only was Peter not coming home, he was actually getting worse, and he was actually being transferred to the ICU. And so that was hard news. And so once we finished our gifts and our dinner, I headed down to the hospital to find out what was going on. And the doctors didn't know what was going on. And December 26th, Peter was put on life support. And that was a hard few weeks for us. And he would come in and out of consciousness. They weren't sure what was going on. The pneumonia had cleared up. We had hundreds and now thousands of people just praying, just hoping, expecting God to give us this miracle. And he would have good days and bad days. And around January 8th and 9th, the doctors had a talk with me and just said they had no other answers. They didn't know what was going on, but Peter was failing. And so it was kind of touch and go on those days. We called the family in to say our goodbyes to him. We brought my son, my little girl, as we held tight and said goodbye. And on January 9th, God just called me to just release him. And I went in that morning and just prayed a prayer release over him. And knew at that point that God was taking him home. I knew that God had a purpose greater in heaven than here on earth for him. And I went home on January 10th. And at 12:55 in the morning, 4 days away from our adoption, 4 days away of his dream of becoming a forever daddy, that call came in that Peter was gone. And so the funeral was planned. We had over 700 people show up. And the adoption went forward. We were so thankful that I was able to keep the kids. And in the meantime, we found out there was a baby on the way. Baby brother was coming, and they had asked me if I would consider fostering and adopting the baby to keep the kids together. And of course I said yes. And so he was now a part of the plan. And so we had the adoption party. My husband's shirt, Forever Daddy shirt, was sitting on a big teddy bear as people lined the halls of our church to greet us and meet us and to congratulate us. And it was a good day, and it was a hard day for us.
When Joyce walked through this season where she lost her husband and Peter passed, it was an incredibly difficult season for all of us, but as you can imagine, especially for her. We wanted, as a church, to do whatever we could to support her, whatever we could to allow her to know that we still love her and care for her, and we're going to get her back during this season.
You know, I don't share my story. I don't share my story to get sympathy from you, but I share my story to say thank you and to say that God is faithful. And this is a way that God provided for us through you and your donations. And I remember getting in touch through my accountant saying, you know what? You know, we know what's going on and we want to bless you. And I want to tell you that it has blessed us and that it's given us hope, and blessing us and supporting us in such a tangible way has gone so far. And it's not going to be easy. I know it's not going to be easy. I'm now raising 2 plus 1 baby now, hopefully soon. I've got to raise 3 kids on my own, but I'm not alone. My village has gone from hundreds of people to thousands of people who are supporting and loving on us and praying for us. And I'm so appreciative of that. God is so faithful. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart that it means so much for your donations. And in the course of our years together, Peter and I struggled a lot. We went through many trials, so many more that I could tell you that I have not shared today. And I used to journal. One of the things I used to do was just sit and journal. That was a way for me to release it. And I used to journal. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I sent in my journals, not knowing what was even going to happen, to a publishing company. And they said, yeah, we'd love to publish those, you know, and I just, in my spirit, didn't feel ready to do that. And so I stopped it, and I didn't realize they had kept the journals. And a week to the day that Peter had passed away, I got a call from a different publishing company saying they had my journals. They wanted to know if I had added to them or if I had an ending yet. And they had no idea that Peter had passed away. And I said, yeah, actually, this is what's happening. And they asked me if I would send in my journals leading up to his passing. And so I decided to do that, and they asked me if I would consider publishing them, so I did. And so, long story short, I was able to share my journals. It's now a book, and I wanted to share that with you. It's called Never Once, and based on the song by Matt Redman, Never Once Did God Leave Us Alone, God Is So Faithful. And it's based on the modern day Job story. My husband felt like Job a lot of times with some of the trials that he went through, things that just happened that was not his fault, and he just remained faithful. He continued to remain humble, and he continued to praise God. And as I journey now with my kids, I want my kids to know how loved and how wanted they were. I want them to know their amazing daddy and how faithful he was, but also ultimately how amazing God is and how faithful God is, even through trials. And I just hope this book brings that glory and honor to God, and that it gives people hope and inspires people through trials, that God is still faithful. And so you can get that on Amazon. You can get it off me personally. I can leave some details for you, but I just wanted to share my story again and say thank you for now being a big part of our journey. It's so appreciated. God bless.
What this Charity of Hope is able to do for the community, especially in the unprecedented times that we're in right now, is truly amazing. To continue with this now, we would like to call upon Julie Lemparski, and she's coming up to talk a bit about our awards and the recipients for this year of 2020.
The Edge Spirit Award was created in March 2014 and is awarded every year. The award is in memory of a Charity of Hope co-founder, Morris Mercanti, and it recognizes an outstanding high school student that embodies the same values and spirit of Mr. Mercanti. Morris was a business icon, a community leader, and a family man. Simply put, Morris Mercanti made the lives of everybody around him better. Individuals applying for this award must demonstrate the following values: an endurance to overcome obstacles, a positive attitude that inspires others, a pursuit of continuous learning and education, and a competitive edge. It is my great pleasure to congratulate this year's award winner, Denate Murguita.
My name is Denate Murguita. I'm 18 years old and I'm a student at Cathedral High School. I was born in Asmara, which is the capital city of Eritrea. Once I turned 9, we moved to Ethiopia. The reason we moved to Ethiopia was that our government situation was not good at that time, so our parents wanted a better future for us. After we moved to Ethiopia, we had to go to a refugee camp. My dad, he was sick in Eritrea, but once we got to Ethiopia, his health got worse. After 6 years, that's when Canada accepted us. When we first came to Hamilton, we were at Wesley. It's like a hotel where immigrants stay for like a while until they get apartment or house. We stayed there for 2 weeks, and that's when I registered to Cathedral High School. My first impression of Canada was really good. I was really happy because everything was different. It's not what I expected. It's just a better place, that's all.
Working with a lot of newcomers, there are some similarities. Certainly they come and they're so excited to be here, but there's also this nervousness and apprehension, and rightly so, because everything is so brand new. Denate, even though she had that nervousness, jumped into everything that the school has to offer. There was a cooking club that I was running that she came to right away, and that gave her a chance to make some friends, practice her English, really build on that sense of belonging.
I didn't know any English at all. It was hard for me to also make friends, talk to other people. So what I did to learn more English was that watch movies with the subtitle on it. Once my friends came to my life, I was like, wow, I love this. People here are really nice. The school is nice, everything.
Nate was one of the leaders in the candy cane program. When they first started it, they write every student's name on a card. They make sure every student gets a candy cane with a Christmas greeting, kind of making them feel like somebody here has given them something. Our mural program, our Scientists of Faith, is showing, key scientist role models on our walls, so they're not blank, white, boring walls, and Danate has really gotten involved in that. She's come in over the summer to add to them. She's done a few murals that are nearing completion, and she's always there, adding a little touch-up, making it look better. When Danate first arrived, she was really supported by a lot of organizations in Canada, especially Wesley and the Y, and she really wanted to give back with Wesley, with collecting food, making sure the food donations were getting to people at Wesley, and then with the Y as being more of a mentor, helping younger students make those transitions that she'd made herself.
Wesley is where my family and I stayed as soon as we got to Hamilton, and now it's a place where I'm volunteering and trying to help people who are in need, who were in the same situation as me. That's what I always wanted to do since I was a kid. Whenever I see someone who's in need, I always wanted to be oh, can I just help this person? I need to do something to help this person. I know how it feels when you want something but you can't get it. So when I give it to them, it makes me feel good, seeing their smile and being happy and being thankful.
It's been the transition she's been able to make. She's so involved at school, so involved in our community. She's gone from almost no English to competitive marks in the hardest 4U science classes in 3.5 years.
What I learned from my family or my parents is that they never gave up. I want to major in chemical engineering. I love chemistry. I love math and everything. So that's what I want to do in the future.
To the average Canadian, as adults, we know that life is full of ups and downs. But for a young person to have faced such difficult hardships like Danate, and to have emerged like a leader, I think that in itself is really an example to all of us. So she doesn't realize how her young life is really a message of hope to all of us. So much for us that we can learn from her resiliency, from her true grit, and being able to persevere and still look forward to the next day and everything that life has to offer. Regardless of what area she decides to pursue, I know that that quiet leader that's inside her is going to make an impact in her community, whether it's something small or big. There's a leader in Danate, and we're going to hear great things about her in the future for sure.
I'm so honored to be receiving the Edge Spirit Award, and I know it's going to affect and have a big impact on my future. Thank you, Charity of Hope. Is that it? Okay.
The Gift of Hope Award is in honor of Tony DiPaolo Jr. You couldn't find a better man than Tony. He was kind and giving and had the ability to make anyone around him smile. This gift of hope is provided to a deserving teen to inspire them to pursue their talent and achieve their dreams. It is my great pleasure to congratulate this year's winner, Sophia Fielding. Sophia is an outstanding student from Bishop Bryan High School. Sophia has had to overcome many obstacles in her young adulthood, and despite these obstacles, she was able to maintain first-class honors and won the Kiwanis Award last year for involvement in her community. She is a volunteer at St. John the Baptist Elementary School, and she also shares her time with Guatemalan charities to raise money to build wells in the country. Congratulations, Sophia.
Hi, my name is Sophia Fielding, and I just graduated from Bishop Ryan High School, and now I go to McMaster University for social science. Over the years, I have gone through a lot of challenges, such as my dad passing away when I was 8 years old, my mom suffering through many health issues, such as being diagnosed with acoustic neuroma, which has left her with a brain tumor, and having 2 life-altering surgeries that have left her physically disabled and legally blind. I myself have gone through some health issues recently, such as in 2018, I got diagnosed with having a large tumor on my pancreas, which I had to have surgery to get removed, which is one of my biggest fears. And of course, dealing with all the mental turmoil associated with this and how it has changed my family. But I have been able to overcome these issues, much to my surprise, and achieve my goals in recent years. I would like to thank the Charity of Hope Committee, all the sponsors, and finally my guidance counselor, Mrs. Mazza, who has always supported me throughout the years. And my advice to young people is to not be afraid to ask for help from someone you trust, because it can make a world of difference. Thanks.
Congratulations to our recipients for this crazy year of 2020. And that, again, my friends, is why this online gala was so important to all of us. Now, normally around this time, we would really ramp up the raffle ticket sales and announce that we have the closing of the silent auction tables that is also coming soon. But quite obviously, that is not happening exactly like this time. So we encourage you, please, if you can, to make a donation. It's super simple. Go to our website, www.charityofhope.com. That's www.charityofhope.com. Thank you. And now I would like to bring up Julie to recognize our bronze level sponsors.
The Charity of Hope is grateful for all our sponsors and how they have supported us throughout the years. We would like to thank our bronze sponsors for their support this year. We can't say enough about how grateful we are for each of you. Their logos can be seen throughout this video.
You know, in really difficult times like this, music has become more important than ever. It keeps us company. It calms us down. And although attending live music events for the time being is just not possible, still seeing live music is more special now than ever.
Now I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew ya. I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 There was a time you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show it to me, do you? And remember when I moved in you,
Hey guys, I'm Brian Mello. I've been a big supporter of Charity of Hope for a long time, and I got a song here that means a lot to me that I want to do for you today, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. And our body boats as one as we sailed into the mystic. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly as we sail into the mystic. And when that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And when that foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't wanna fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul. And it's just like way back to the days of old. And together we will flow as we sail into the mystic. Come on, come on, come on. Foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And when that foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't wanna fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul. Just like way back to the days of old. And together we will flow as we sail into the mystic. Come on, come on, come on. Well, it's too late to stop now. It's too late to stop now.
Thank you, Brian. Brian Mello. Thank you, Rosanna. Great musical entertainment here tonight. I told you, didn't I tell you that that's what we do at the Charity of Hope? We jam it full of music and great entertainment. Supporting local artists is a big part of building our community, so thank you both very much for that. I love music. I, of course, love music when it's live and you get to go to an actual concert and in an actual venue, and all of you are with us at Carmen's Banquet Center watching great music as well. Obviously, we can't do that right now, but there is still something truly special about seeing music online, and it's pretty cool too. And one last time, we would like to recognize and thank our special partners. And we would also like to send a very special thank you to everyone who has taken time to make a donation this year to the Charity of Hope. We thank you for your support, especially this year. And just this one last time, if you'll indulge me, every other year, I would, at this time, be closing down the silent auction tables. I would be announcing that this is the last call to buy your raffle tickets. And it's around this time that things would really get nutty, because everybody who hadn't bought their raffle tickets now all of a sudden would think, oh, I gotta get them. And then the lineups get super long. And then people are clawing over each other to get their last minute bids in at the silent auction table. But again, and for the last time, we're not doing it that way this year. So, for the last time, I'm asking you to please consider making a donation, even a monthly donation. You have all of this available to you at www.charityofhope.com. Thank you so much. And that brings us to our final entertainment segment for this online gala. For those of you that have attended our live galas at Carmen's Banquet Center for the Charity of Hope, you know that entertainment is always the big event. So right now, we're going to close this truly magical event with even more magic, the magic of Nick Wallace.
Thanks, Chris. My name's Nick Wallace, and I'm very excited to be part of this virtual event this year. Now, because I don't have a large audience with me, I thought I would take this opportunity to show you some things that I practice all the time but don't get the opportunity to show people. This first thing is something really simple with a bunch of big silver coins, 3 silver dollars. These coins are almost 100 years old, and they're solid hunks of silver. Now, there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind while I do this. Number one, there's just 3 coins. I'm not hiding anything else inside my fingertips. Secondly, short sleeves. There's nothing extra coming or going from anywhere. And finally, I'm going to keep all the coins at my fingertips like this, so you can see all 3 coins the entire time. Now, the idea behind this is very simple. One at a time, while you're watching my fingertips, the coins are going to disappear from this hand and show up over here. That's number 1. And again, you can see there's nothing else hiding inside my fingertips. This is it. This is all we're using. So this one was here. Now it's over here. So this time I'm going to show you what this looks like from the front. I'll even show you what it looks like from the back. That's number 2. And again, nothing else hiding inside here. This is it. This is all I got. Last one. Going to change this last one a little bit. Now, there's this rule in magic that says you're not supposed to repeat the same trick twice. This is because you lose the element of surprise. Surprise. Now, even if you don't know exactly how this works, you know this is sleight of hand. You know I have the ability to hide a coin in my hand and make it look like it's not there. But I think you'll agree there's a world of difference between not knowing how something's done and knowing that something can't be done. And there it is. 1, 2, 3. I have one last thing I'm going to share with you before I go. I'm going to show you the number 1 reason I don't get invited to any card games. It's this one move I can do. Now, I have an audience member who's going to help me with this. Samantha, are you ready? Okay, so Samantha, I'm going to drop the cards into my hand. Whenever you want me to stop, just tell me to stop.
Stop.
Is that good? So we're going to use 10 of clubs. Sound good? Now, I need everyone watching to know that this is the only 10 of clubs that we're going to use. So we're going to mark this up, Samantha. So I'm going to write on this card. Can I put your name? SAMANTHA. Good. And Samantha, let's just put maybe a little picture or something. Anything you would like me to do? A shape? An animal? Nothing too detailed?
Maybe a triangle?
A triangle is something I can do. So there's Samantha's 10 of clubs with a triangle on it. So now you know, even if this was an entire deck of 10 of clubs, which it's obviously not, this would still be the only 10 of clubs that looks like this, because it's got Samantha's name and a triangle on it. So the move I'm going to show you is something called the Holdout. And I'll explain what this is before I'm done. So to start, Samantha, I'm going to put your 10 of clubs in pretty close to the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, but it's pretty close. And in a moment, I'm going to put these cards right down on the stool like here, so it's sort of hands off. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, do I cheat when I'm playing cards? And the answer is, it depends who I'm playing with, really. But Samantha, let's say I'm playing with you. Let's say your 10 of clubs is the one card I want. So already what I'm doing is I'm tracking, I'm counting to see how far down that 10 of clubs is from the top. So already I can tell you it's 28 cards from the top. So let's say I'm dealing and I would want to get at that 10 of clubs. This is what I would do. Can you still see it there a bit? Okay. And there it is. Now that's not the move I wanted to show you, so I'm going to do that again. So this time, Samantha, once your 10 of clubs is in the middle, starting right now, I'm not going to touch it. You can see that's definitely down there. I'm even going to use a different card. I'll use this 7 of diamonds, and I'll use the 7 to tap the 10 in. So I'm not getting close. It's like that. This time, the 10 of clubs is going to go a little bit further away. And there it is. Now, I know what part of the problem is. You don't know where to look. I mean, I'm focusing your attention on one spot and the card's showing up where you're not looking. So this is the last time I'm going to do this. And this time I'm going to do the move. And that was it. See, that's the 7 of diamonds again. And hopefully you guys were watching. My hands, they stayed right here. I didn't go anywhere near my pockets or anything. The holdout, the move I wanted to show you, is when you secretly take a card out of the deck and you hold it out. You hold on to it and wait to add it back to a game. It's a really dangerous move to do because if you get caught, you're in trouble. So Samantha, I got a much safer spot for your card. That's what I did. I pulled it out of the deck. It's hiding in a safe spot right now. And again, my hands really did stay right here. I didn't go anywhere near my pockets. All I'm going to do is use this hand, which is totally empty. Actually, I don't even need to use my hands because my shoelaces are tucked in here. I'm going to reach down to my shoe. You can see that shoe's on there. It's on there pretty good. Samantha, I'm going to pull the shoe off, and you can let them know. Can you see something down there inside the bottom of the shoe? Can you see that?
Yes.
I'm going to, because of COVID, I'm not going to ask you to open that, but I'm going to open this nice and slowly. And there it is. Samantha's 10 of clubs triangle. Normally I'd give this to you, but I'm going to hold on to that. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Nick. Magic, I love it, but I got to admit, it freaks me out. There has to be an explanation. I know there's an explanation, but I'm never going to find it out. And I also want to thank everyone else who took part in tonight's performance, everybody who attended this online gala and played a role. Thank you very much. Now, before we wrap here for this online gala, we do want to recognize those who brought us this special event in this crazy 2020 year. The Charity of Hope Board of Directors, Michael Macaluso, George Lemparski, Jennifer Mercanti, Lisa Mercanti-Ladd, Julie Lemparski, Dennis Concordia, PJ Mercanti, Eric Ferreira, and Andrea Ingrado, your Charity of Hope Board of Directors, everyone. And now your Hamilton Charity of Hope Committee members, Sam Mercanti, Dennis Concordia, George Lemparski, Jessica Lemparski, Roma Mercanti, Julie Lemparski, Eric Ferreira, Sue DiPaolo, PJ Mercanti, Lisa Mercanti Ladd, Teresa Nicciolino, Charlie Agro, Jennifer Mercanti, Michael Brown, Karen Rush, Kyle Robinson, and Vineet Bandari. Your Hamilton committee members. And now for the final words for this online gala here in the year 2020. Thank you. Thank you to the board. Thank you to the committee, and thank you for making the donations and continued donations to www.charityofhope.com. Thank you for watching, and thank you again for your continued support of this Charity of Hope. We will see you next year. Bye for now.